All right. Hello, everybody. Happy weekend. I hope you're doing well. And I'm looking forward to helping you transfer or translate all the messages that are coming through for the next 7 days. Welcome to your weekly forecast. We're going to look at the next 7 days going from this Sunday to next Sunday. And everything that we're going to talk about here, I'm going to let Apollo sit down, is basically going to help you navigate opportunities. I'm a big proponent in free will. And I believe that what else would we be doing here except to see what's in front of you and what's possible and allow you and empower you to make the best choices that you can. Exciting extra today, we have a new bowl. Hey buddy, chillax. So it's pretty large. I got this from my chiropractor actually, and I'm going to be playing this today as the instrument during our channeled, not the channel messages, but the meditation. So I think you'll like it. It has a really nice deep sound. So yay for new things and yay for helping me get this. So thank you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the format here, and then we'll get into your channel messages. Today, we do have a totem, but I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on dream messages, since the dream messages were kind of crazy clear. Like I was seeing a lot, and I knew before I woke up, I thought this is going to be a day where it's about messages from the guides, because that was basically nonstop bombarding me. All right, so the overall format today will be channel messages first, the 7-day forecast, Sunday to Sunday after that. We'll look at some blessings and blocks for the week ahead. Everything, again, is for all that are tuned in, and then we'll drill into specific signs as we go into the elemental forecast for fire, earth, air, and water. Then we'll take a quick look at something that I want to see, something that you want to see, and we'll get into the special topics, messages from your guides. The cool thing with messages from your guides is because it's very open, anything that needs to come through can, and we can touch on a lot of things rather than focusing just on love, just on the past, just on relationships. We'll get a sprinkling of everything with this. So it's probably one of my favorites, which is why I will kind of quarterly put it out there. And usually it wins when I do, because it's a great topic and there's a lot of meat with this to kind of look at as a reader and also as a viewer. We're going to have a special meditation later today using that new bowl, which is gigantic, but it has a beautiful sound, so I'm glad I have this. And then, of course, at the very end, if you have a specific question, I ask that you hold it until that point, just so that we can all kind of focus on the reading at hand. Let's give Apollo a little bit more love so he relaxes. Want to get tucked in, buddy? Okay. And maybe a little toy. How about that? All right. Whenever I get started at the beginning, he's like, Dad, I got my own stuff that I need to be doing back here. All right. You want to chill out, babe? Come on. There we go. All right. I love dogs, but they are sometimes, the attention. He's like, Dad, you're working and we want to be relaxing now, but it's all going to be fine. All right. So let's begin. Let me get my presentation set up here, and we're going to talk about channeled messages. I actually met the totem that we'll be using in real life yesterday, and a beautiful pelican that I ran into while I was visiting a friend near the beach. A reminder that I need to get to the beach more. It's just a beautiful energy to hear the water, smell the salt, all that stuff. It's just kind of amazing what it does to bring your energy in a beautiful space. So, all right, let's bring this up so you can see it. All right, so your totem today is the pelican. Here's one, and I think I can get the video to play there too. So just a beautiful, gentle energy. And while I was, again, just kind of visiting a friend, popped in for a couple hours, a friend that had a birthday, and then came back home since I had to prepare for today. I was lucky enough when we had a bite to eat to see this lovely little bird. I did some research on pelicans, and the one thing that I wanted to highlight today, and I got it from this bird as well, because it was very calm. It was very social. I was surprised. I think it's because it's used to all of the people by the beach. But basically, they actually work together when they're hunting. So they'll kind of form this U-shaped group, and then together they disrupt the water and get the fish to go into the shallow portion of the water so they can all scoop them up. So there's this teamwork energy, a rallying of support, and I think that we can all benefit right now by realizing that we don't have to do things all on our own. In fact, there's a big advantage to working with a team, and you can make more noise, more of an impact, more of a splash with others. And as I tuned into today's totem, that was the main thing that I wanted to focus on. Now, there were some people while I was there that were trying to kind of go up and pet the pelican and everything, and that didn't work. But it was really relaxed, and it enjoyed the attention a little bit. So what I got from this was just a very social and engaged and almost star-like energy. It was posing, as you can tell, kind of like, look at me, or who, me? A really cool, cute sort of bird and energy as well. So I don't always get a chance to sort of take a picture of the totem, but today I did. So I hope you enjoyed that. All right, now let's go into dream messages, and there were a few, and they were pretty deep. So I'm going to highlight the most impactful or most important. If you partner up on something or either a project or an endeavor, make sure that you're earning proper credit, because I saw a recognition ceremony, but I also got this feeling of something was left out, someone was left out, there was some disappointment. I put the Six of Wands here because I just saw that this would be happening in public. We could have easily put the Three of Pentacles as well, because it's like recognition for a job well done. Remember, if you are the one that's recognizing, to get that list together so that when it comes time to say thank you to everyone, you don't leave somebody out, because that's what I was kind of picking up on was just something sleight of mind, but not kind of necessarily a premeditated sort of you forgetting something. So just try your best if you can to sort of get all of that sorted out before you have to have the moment where you say thank you to everybody. To that end, think before you speak, because what I saw is, let's imagine actually that you are going to get recognized. You've done your work. You made sure that you're part of the team. You're getting the proper recognition. And if it's a contract, actually, this is important for you that are artists. If you are like composing music, writing something for someone, creating some sort of artistic thing for an installation or whatever, make sure that part of the contract includes recognition or rights management, something of that nature. Anyway, something positive's coming. We want to make sure, and that was the message, something good is happening. Something good is around the corner. And I got that in a couple of different ways. But this is the first one, which is some sort of public recognition. What we want to make sure then is that you do your best right now to shine, because you don't want to mar this with also maybe having said or done something that then surfaces. And that's what I was kind of combining these two together, because I saw words being spilled in public, maybe like a Ten of Swords moment where you just say what you want to say and don't worry about it. And then if this is paired up with a recognition event shortly thereafter, or recognition, then this happens, it doesn't mesh very well. So I brought in the card of Temperance to help us out through this, which is, let me weigh my words. Let me say a little bit of what I need to say. Let me read the room, take a temperature check, and make sure that this is being received well. And maybe not do it in a public place, maybe just one-on-one with somebody. So I think this is going to be the first thing that I would focus on, is meditating, breathing, focusing on just taking it one step at a time. Writing down what you need to say will help you not only in not forgetting something, which we talked about earlier, like recognition, but it also helps you when it comes to making sure that you don't get too sort of like, overcome by your emotions. Because sometimes we get over enthusiastic or overly angry, and then we just forget our train of thought and things just come out. So use this energy of Temperance: cool, calm, collected, and prepared. Wait until you have a neutral mind. What do I mean by that? I mean that you are not disengaged and you're not overly engaged. You're just sort of very able to say, I care about this, I want to get this done, but I'm not shaking, my heart's not beating, I'm not sweating, I'm not feeling flushed. I'm feeling like I can get in and out of this conversation without losing my composure, okay? So neutral mind, neutral energy, having a script, even if it's just notes on your phone. That's what I do when I take dream notes. I just tap in as much as I can remember. And then this morning, then I will be able to kind of like bring it all back. So you need a little something to help you go through it. That's also why I do the slides, just to make sure that I'm not randomly rambling along. Okay? Now, this was really cool. It doesn't happen all the time, but you asked me, you being the collective, you were kind of like, someone's asking me to read for them. They said, I have a situation that I'm dealing with. What is it going to be? And I said, all right. The first card actually was Death. You pulled the Eight of Cups or Eight of Pentacles, and then I pulled the Lovers as well. So I did Death, you did the Eight of Pentacles, I did the Lovers. But I put them out in this direction because that's kind of how Spirit wanted me to lay it out. So you asked if, what's going on, and I saw change. You showed me it would be a karmic lesson with the Eight of Pentacles. I realized as I pulled on a kind of like a clarification on that this would be something that would help you with relationships. So let's talk about it. Death card in general means a necessary change or transformation. I've been putting the caterpillars and butterflies thing. It got the least votes. I may take it off because we're talking a little bit about it here. But that's really what it is, like undeniable and unavoidable change that needs to happen, a metamorphosis of sorts. And so for some of you, a relationship is sort of like coming to a place where it's either going to be serious or you're releasing it, or maybe there's been a friendship or a relationship in your life and everything you needed to learn, you've learned. And much like a graduating class, people may go their separate ways after that. So the lessons that are being conveyed and being learned right now could involve both love and money. So the person that you loved could have had issues with money. They could have taught you how to be better with money, but somehow I'm seeing love and money tied, and I'm seeing that there's a lesson that's been learned and there's no need to continue to repeat that lesson. It's an end to a cycle. But with it, I actually see a lot of happiness on the horizon. So we could see both the Lovers and the Eight of Pentacles as future cards. The Death card being what's necessary to bring about those cards. Really beautiful, actually. And I wish I remember the number, because one thing that I used to do when I don't do private readings, but when I used to, or if I'm reading for a family member and they're long distance, I'll ask them for a number sometimes to help identify which card I want to pull in the deck. And you had given me a number, but I couldn't remember that when I woke up. I don't think it was any more than 7 or 8. So that could tell me that maybe 1 or 2 months are, and possibly even in the next week. So it's either like 7 or 8 days or 7 or 8 weeks for this cycle to kind of happen. So the next couple of months look good to me. It begins with a big change. So that was really cool. When I woke up with that, I thought, okay, it's going to be messages from your guides, because I never get asked to pull cards in my dreams like that. And then I remembered all of them. I woke up immediately and tapped them into my phone. So that's kind of cool. And it could mean love coming in. It could mean, again, a relationship falling away. But no matter what, whether you're ending on Lovers or Eight of Pentacles, these are good cards. It's productivity or money, or it's love. So some of you are experiencing one, some of you experiencing the other, okay? Now, this last one was kind of bizarre, but I'll just relay the messages. So I saw a breaking of a window, ostensibly on a house or dwelling, and then I saw you going into a car and driving away. Now, for me, there could be a situation that you want to break out of. You could have a breakthrough, like a new perspective, a new idea. What I didn't like about it was a breaking of a window, because it does leave behind shards, and it's kind of like a messy, that karmic energy that we were just looking at here, it doesn't get cleaned up. And so before you leave a situation, make sure that there's nothing left that is hurtful. Like, to me, the shards represent something that was said or done that stings a little bit. So make sure that there are no harsh words or harsh actions when you're bringing something to a close. And also, if possible, try to clean everything up so when you leave, there's no feeling of, oh, I wish I would have said this or done this, or I could have done something differently. So I put here, like, to me, the car represents the Chariot here. So take control of the situation. Don't run away. Resolve it, then move on. Move on with a clean slate and a clean conscience. And whenever I see broken windows, for instance, it can be a literal sort of thing. Look at your house, look at your car, because it was something between the car and the house. And if there's any sort of crack or splintering in the windows, fix it. But the rest of this is more symbolic. It has to do with looking at things from a clearer perspective, needing to break free from limiting thoughts or actions of others, possibly being in a situation where you feel like you're in a glass house or you're glassed in, and the only thing to do to get out of that is just sometimes just make a clean escape. make it as clean as possible, though. That's what I was really getting as I was tuning into all of this, to ensure that there's no regrets, there's no hurt feelings, there's no feeling that I could have or should have done something differently, okay? Let's do a couple of quick things here. While I'm talking about this, if there's any requests for any of the tarot decks that you would like me to use, you can throw it into chat now and I'll consider it. First of all, welcome everybody. You're here for the weekly collective, which is special in a different format from my monthlies. We're going to look at 7 days. Before I get into all of the forecasts and wonderful things that are coming through, just a reminder, if you're watching live and you want to chat, hit the subscribe button. Even if you're watching it on replay, subscribe because it's free and it helps the growth of this channel. And the sooner that we can get to 325,000, I will do a Q&A at that point. And so that's always fun for me, and I'm sure it's fun for you as well. So let's get to that milestone so we can do that. You can also like the video, again, free, and it helps others discover it. And if you want to know of future videos and events, hit the bell icon. I may do something for solstice coming up. I haven't decided. If I do, it would be brief, but it would be maybe like an impromptu. So we'll see. More to come on that. Please follow me on social media as well. I'm going to add something to this slide sometime this week, which is basically, reminder, I don't do private readings. I don't use direct messages. And if anyone reaches out to you and says you've been chosen for something and what would you like to pay, that is not me. There's a lot of imposters out there that like to build on other people's brands and then take advantage of goodwill. So the only place and way that you can connect with me is through a live reading like this, or through the built-in mechanisms in YouTube, for instance, SuperChats, SuperStickers, and Super Thanks. Or you can use my website, or if I do a live on Instagram or TikTok, there are built-in ways to do that as well. But I don't offer private readings. I want to keep saying that because there's a lot of folks out there that get taken advantage of, not just from me, but other readers. And most readers on YouTube don't do private readings for that reason. We want to put the energy into being here with you, and there's too many people out there that take advantage of others. So duly noted. My username is always my name, except on Twitter, which is Ashbaugh. When in doubt, look at the pinned comment or the pinned comment here in chat as well. I always have all the links there, okay? And with that being said, if you do want to give back, you can do it through Super Stickers and Super Chat, and that's what the icon looks like. For more information on my schedule, you can go to my website. At the very end, I'll tell you what's coming up next, but I'm always live for reading the monthly readings on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and I always do weekly collectives on Sundays. All right, so let me just realize my TV was still on in the background, so let me just turn that off so we don't have to see what time it is behind me. And let's see what you've been asking for when it comes to decks, and I'll just randomly kind of take a look here if I need to. Welcome to the new members. By the way, membership is a great way to give back in a consistent sort of way, and you don't have to worry then. So St. Croix, I like that. Afro Goddess, sounds good. And let's see what else is coming through. And yes, to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. We'll maybe pull a special card for Father's Day as well. All right, so let's see, the iridescent deck. I know which one that is. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I've been using, I'll put the Wild Unknown here again. It seems like a lot of you enjoy this one, so let's see. Okay, so we have St. Croix, we have Afro Goddess, we have the Wild Unknown, and let's see. You know what? I'm actually gonna. I used this the other day, and since we had a bird, the Raven's prophecy was beautiful the other day, so I'll pull that one into rotation. It's not used all the time, and it really has some beautiful imagery. So I think this will give us a nice cross section of decks to look at today, and definitely this one hasn't been used that much. All right, so let's pull these out here so you can look at them. St. Croix. Afro Goddess, the Wild Unknown, and Raven's Prophecy. Okay, so you have a chance to vote on these now. Let me show you a few cards from each so you can make a selection. And actually, for this you're going to choose it for the for the main reading, and then I'm going to choose some different ones for the 7-day forecast and everything. So I'm so used to doing it for the monthly that I did this ahead of time, but it's okay. So here we go. I'll use it for the 7-day, and then maybe the runner-up I might use for the collective, and then I'll use some other ones as we go in between. So this is St. Croix, and beautiful deck here, Tarot de St. Croix. It's a derivative of Rider-Waite-Smith, but but they actually took a lot of nice sort of like twists and turns along the way, which make it an interesting deck. This is a pretty straight Rider-Waite-Smith derivative, but it has 2 or 3 cards that are extra, like the Supreme card here that you see. Just beautiful overall. So this is Afro-Goddess. This one is all nature-based. And again, I will take the top 2. I may end up using all of these, but this will dictate the order. And this is Wild Unknown, because I have a chance to kind of work with all types of decks today with all the different pulls that I'll be doing. So you can tell me which order you'd like them done in. And this is a really unique deck, very similar in color scheme to the first one, but very simple when it comes to the images that are included on it. But since we had a bird coming through for our totem, I went with Raven's Prophecy for this as well. Okay, so it looks like Afro-Goddess won. So let's see what came in second. So Afro-Goddess, welcome back. And let's see. Afro-Goddess, actually Raven's Prophecy. So we're going to do Raven's Prophecy for the 7-day forecast, and then maybe Afro-Goddess for the main portion of the reading. We'll see. Well, let's see. I think if you chose it, let's do this for the reading. I'll use Afro-Goddess for 7-day because there's less. It seems like a better one for second place. And then I'm going to choose some different ones because the other ones didn't kind of rank that high. So there we go. All right, so we're going to save this for the main reading. We're going to use this for the 7-day. And then I'll intersperse some of the other ones as we do the reading. They both won, but I was like, if this is the winner, then more cards will actually be seen if I do it during the main Celtic Cross. Okay, so we're going to begin with, if you just joined, we're going to take a look at the 7-day forecast, and this is going to take us from this Sunday to next Sunday. We're going to navigate all of the days, and I'll give you a quick breakdown of what each day is going to look like and feel like. Okay. Let me just get everything set up here as well. So one for today. So again, I'll be using Ravens for the main portion since it got the most. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Good to see this deck back. I've put it out a lot. It doesn't always make it through to the final one. So this is a democracy for the most part here. So I'm happy to allow us to select which cards. It's so beautiful. So I think it is one of the nicest ones to work with. So thanks for choosing it. Also, the images on this one are really easy to kind of like read for a 7-day forecast. Okay. So let's begin with today. The Queen of Wands. You all know I love this card. Why do I love it, you may ask? Because it's magical and because it tells you that really you can deal with any challenge in your path. Queen of Wands always has tricks up her sleeve in a good way, like when it comes to trying to solve something. For me, this would equate to feeling like you're stuck, feeling like you've hit a brick wall, and then when you least expect it, you're struck with an inspiration. You go to the fridge to get something to eat, and all of a sudden the solution comes to you. Or you start scribbling in your notebook, or you start cleaning your house, and you find what you were looking for. She doesn't have to work as hard as maybe others, and all of a sudden she can kind of come up with something. Also, there's a lot of creativity in thought and idea here. So this is a card that, for those of you that are like engineers or like to sort of tinker with things, all of a sudden this can come through and you have this ability to hit a special point of view or a special solution that others are going to be surprised by in a positive way. So have fun, go out there on a limb a little bit and keep thinking, but do it in a way that isn't like I'm stuck. It's sort of like, well, what's the weirdest thing that I can kind of possibly throw at this solution and go with it? The more outlandish, the better, okay? This is a bossy card. It is the boss. It's, penultimate, second only to the King of Wands. But on some levels, I think queens are better leaders because they have a nurturing energy. They have a leadership energy. And there's a certain kind of power with this that I don't see in the King of Wands. The King ends up being a little too passive, and she's a lot more active. So I like that. I like the magic and intuition that's a part of it. So what can you do today? Anything you want to. Take control, take the initiative. If you want to meet up with someone, you're the one that should throw out the invitation. If someone's asking you for your opinion, you should feel free when you're kind of giving whatever your point of view is to just go for it. So it's basically saying, be bolder than you normally are, have a point of view, say what you need to say, do what you need to do, and then don't get bossed around. If there's someone that's trying to push you in a direction that you don't want to go, then this is a reminder, like, I don't have to do that. I can speak up. I'm not afraid of what's coming through. All right, so it's a great day to lead, to organize, to solve things, and to not second guess who you are or what you're capable of. Be the boss, if I had to title Sunday. Even if you're watching it on Monday, some of that energy is still spilling over for you. All right. And yeah, I don't really read gender in cards, but I do read energy, and the queens are more receptive and more developmental than the kings. So I tend to like the queen cards better, just because they're also more accessible as leaders. Kings are good. It depends what you're looking for. If I want something to be like a deal to be signed, sealed, and delivered, the king may be better, but she's really good at getting everyone and everything connected. So fantastic energy for today. Couldn't ask for a better one. As we look at the beginning of the week here, we have the Nine of Pentacles. Really great energy with this too. Very close to what I picked up on, with the Eight of Pentacles. So we already see you maybe one step ahead by the beginning of the week. This is a fiercely independent card. Love all the bird energy that's coming through even with this card here, because I was picking up on, like I said, the pelican earlier. So what does this help you with, or what would you should focus on Monday? I would say independent work is actually highly favored with the Nine of Pentacles. So if you are capable of basically just working on something yourself, you can get a lot done. It's a very productive energy. So although cooperation and collaboration is key, I would say maybe on Tuesday and Thursday, that may work a little bit better for you. On Monday, you may need to sit with something a little bit and perfect it, or get it to a point where you're really comfortable with it. And if you do have teamwork, take a break. Have like these moments where you work together and then say, all right, I need a couple of, like, give me half an hour or something. Let me finish this and then I'll bring it back to you. And then we can, you can kind of like delegate. The boss energy from the weekend is coming through and saying, maybe delegation is key in saying, I want to do a little research here. I want to finish up on this, or let me call this person and then let's meet up in an hour. Maybe coming apart and coming together will be key for success, because you need a little bit of independence in order to feel good. And sometimes we need that just to sort things out. It's a great day for getting on top of finances. And the only thing that can ever hold you back is if there is something that requires that you have to take either criticism, you have to work as a team, or you have to just basically share. All of those things are challenging for the Nine of Pentacles, because basically this person is like, I worked hard to get where I'm at, and I don't want to share, and I don't want to have to spend time with others. And it's a very sort of solitary energy. So if you can break free of that, especially if someone has an efficient way to get something done, they come to you and they're like, you're doing great. I like all of this, but if you were to try this, you could either, make more money or get this done faster or have more success or whatever. There's a little breakthrough that's possible, but it requires you to maybe change the path a little bit more than you want to. So be open-minded, because there could be a solution and you could get to that 10 of Pentacles faster. Very good day overall. Good for money, good for work, good for working on your own. Very positive day. The only negatives could be not listening to feedback, not taking a path that's a little less sort of time consuming, simply because you don't want to. And it's your prerogative at the end of the day. It's still going to get done, but there might be in a more efficient way. Okay. As we look at Tuesday, the energy is going more on you doing something that you need to do for development. So this is on the upright position, this is learning and leadership, or not learning, it's leadership and kind of house and home and partnership. When it's reversed, it's sort of saying, what do I need to do to take care of myself? What do I need to do maybe to learn or nurture or somehow make sure that I'm okay? You could also be in the presence of someone that has a hard time sharing. We have a common energy coming through where teamwork is necessary, but it's kind of like not the easiest thing to do on either Monday or Tuesday. The other thing that I'm picking up on with Tuesday is you may need to take something back. So for those of us sometimes where maybe if you did delegate on Monday, then it's your turn to look at something and say, all right, I need to see how I feel about that. I need to take a closer look. So this can be reclaiming something, revisiting something. And again, if power was taken away, if something should be rightfully yours, this is reclamation as well. It's a boss energy, but it's more hands-on. So where this can be more talking about ideas and sort of like working together, this one is saying, I need to fix it, or I need to see it, or you're going to have to do some like edits in real time. So ownership and accountability are a key part of Tuesday. So take ownership, be accountable. Go ahead and put the red marks on something if you have to. And then again, there's going to be a little bit of this back and forth that happened both on Monday and Tuesday. By Wednesday, we have a really interesting energy coming through. I don't mind if the Seven of Swords, in fact, I prefer if the Seven of Swords is reversed because it's a reveal. We even see in the traditional upright version of it that the spotlight is going to be shown on this person that is probably not doing something that they need to be doing. What does the traditional Seven of Swords look like? Well, it's someone trying to get away with something. And what happens with this is there are two different levels. There can be like self-deception where we tell ourselves a little half-truth like, well, it's not a big deal. They're not going to notice. And the truth of the matter is we know we shouldn't do something and we do it anyway. So if you have some of that sort of, I'll just let you look at the card while I'm doing this. If you have some of that internal dialogue going on, listen to the shoulder that has the angel on it, which is saying, it's not the right thing to do. It will see the light of day, because we see that happening here. It can also be a little bit more premeditated, where someone knows that they're going to get away with something. So here's the traditional one, and you can see the sneaky person. They're sort of looking over their shoulder, seeing if they can make a clean escape. But the truth of the matter is usually the stuff comes out in the wash, so to speak. And so that's what's happening on Wednesday. You thought you knew or understood or kind of had the big picture for something, but there's a reveal that happens and you have to deal with that. So something comes to light and the question is more for you, what do you want to do about it? So if it was someone who you feel like, well, this is the first time, or it wasn't premeditated, or it's you and you just fell short of it, then the best thing to do is, if it's you, just be accountable. Say, you know what? I overpromised. I knew I couldn't get all of this done, or I knew I couldn't show up to that event because I've just been working too hard. That's on me. I won't do it again. Be honest and be apologetic and be true to that. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And that should solve that. And if it's someone else, ask them why they acted the way they acted. I think that's always a good way to enter into Seven of Swords. Was it intentional, or was it what we just talked about, someone being overwhelmed and not knowing how to say no? We've all had situations where we should have said no but didn't, and then we end up saying yes, and the yes is really a lie. And that's an example of a Seven of Swords where it isn't malicious. It's just sort of like you need to learn a lesson. But if someone is actually saying a lie or not being accountable or trying to get away with something, it will come out, and then you'll be able to deal with it on Wednesday. So the main thing on Wednesday, if we just put it in the affirmative, tell the truth, be responsible, say no if you need to. If you do those three things, bye-bye Seven of Swords, you're fine. And that's how I kind of deal with more challenging cards in tarot. They come through to show us what to avoid as much as like what we can embrace. And so just avoid getting into something where you're in over your head. And I think that's the main thing on Wednesday that most of us can relate to, or saying yes to an invitation or to something that you know you don't want to do. And if it's wrong, say it's wrong. If someone's doing something wrong, just like you would want to tell them if they have something in their teeth, or if, a leaf is stuck in their hair because they were walking outside, tell someone if something doesn't look right or sound right. You would say it then. If someone is trying to get your read and they're like, isn't that right? Or I can do this, right? You can just say, I wouldn't. You can always say that. I don't know what's right for you, but that doesn't sit well for me, so I don't think I want to do it. And then that gives them something to think about. You don't have to change their mind. You just have to speak your truth. Thursday's a lot easier, thank goodness. We have the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Wands, we're getting back into the productive energy that we saw in Monday and Tuesday. Interesting thing, I like to look at, when I'm looking at you and I'm looking at the reversals, it's something presented to you sometimes when it's in reverse. And there needs to be a little bit of change, movement, or development or growth on this. So this could be someone else giving you an opportunity, an idea, trying to even offer partnership with you. But don't unless this is something that you must do, give it some time and think about what you need from the situation as well, and then offer some feedback, because it feels like there's something that doesn't quite sit right. In a relationship, this is something where on paper it looks good, but you don't feel the spark. We can also see that in an intuitive sort of thing, like a job that's offered, but you're not feeling like maybe, well, the money's good, but I don't get behind the idea of this. I want you to really be behind the idea and the energy and the chemistry, if it's a person, before saying yes. Because it looks good on paper, but you have to feel that it feels good on Thursday. When it comes to things that are not related to what we just talked about, there are other sort of elements of Ace of Wands reverse, which connect with vitality. Are you just exhausted? Are you running on steam, basically, at this point? If so, get enough rest so that you feel just fully taken care of, because sometimes we just have this lack of self-care. Are you excited about what you're doing? Because Ace of Wands can be passion. And if you're not, why are you doing it? Whether it's an activity or a job or anything in your life, there should be something engaging and inviting about it. And this reminds us to get back to that engaging and inviting energy. And I think that's pretty much it for the Ace of Wands. It's an opportunity and a big opening, but you have to feel the connection. And so either practice good self-care. The Queen of Pentacles on Tuesday could say, like, get some extra sleep, clean up your house, make something kind of like a nesting energy that Apollo was doing behind me a few moments ago. And make sure that you've done that. Otherwise, by the time Thursday hits, you're feeling a little out of sorts. Okay? Now we have Temperance on Friday, which I pulled in my channeled messages. And this is the day where I feel like you can, if you connect with this, you can get ahead and you're going to avoid any sort of unnecessary conflicts. Temperance is great because if we look at it, there's always a beautiful angel on the card. You're being guided. If you quiet down, if you slow down and continue to move, but move with a good sort of premeditated energy, like this is what I want to do, and I'm paying attention. Neutral and meditation, I would say too, just being in a meditative state, a neutral state, and then understanding what you want to do next, then you'll pick up on the signs and the signals. So don't rush. Take your time on Friday. Slow and steady wins the race, just like you would see the snail in the Nine of Pentacles, the traditional Nine of Pentacles, which is missing here. We want to bring a little bit more of that patience and diligence back into this. So slow and steady, and take the first step. Continue to move forward, even if it is just a call, a conversation, or literally kind of like moving something a little bit. That's all that is required. It's still movement. So as long as you're moving, you're growing, and you're getting to the next level, which is all you can ask of yourself, okay? So it's a slow but a productive day on Friday. Now let's take a look at next weekend. It's sort of interesting here how we see the trilogy of all the swords. So let's talk about next Saturday. So it's coming out of the dark, basically. So we have the Eight of Swords in reverse, and for many of you, there's a feeling like, I can finally breathe. I'm not afraid, because it's the reverse of fear. And there is, for many of you, just being willing and ready to step up to the plate. We see all the swords coming at her. So for some of you, there could be a fear of rejection or judgment. And if you are afraid walking into a situation, you give power to the people holding those figurative swords. If you are strong and upright, like the Queen of Wands here, then people see you entering the room and they step back a little bit and they think, I'm not going to test that person. This isn't the one where I'm going to kind of latch on and try to get under their skin. So your body language and your comfort level with not just what's the worst, but what's the best that could happen. I always like to turn the fears inside out. So if you're afraid of failure, why not succeed? Why can't you succeed? And if there's something that's a tangible reason why you can't succeed, then fix that first and then enter into the situation. So think about the why not ... and then put in a positive or affirmative. And then I would say, yeah, why not? Let's see where this can lead. Get enough sleep. This is something I've been challenged with over the past 2 months, as I'm still looking for a place and they're doing construction. That's why I do this so early right now. So like last night, whether I like it or not, I have to go to bed at 8 o'clock on nights before I work, just so that I can make sure that I've got enough sleep, because I'm getting up at 3 in the morning. So get sleep. That's the only way. And you have to adjust your schedule, for instance, if something's different, if you're on a different time zone, if you are, burning the candle at both ends. Maybe you can do it when you're very, very young, but you will notice the older that you get that there's a recovery period for that. So if you pull a late night, I think it's fair. I used to do this when I was working corporate. I would say, fine, but then I need to work from home tomorrow. I need a day off. I will work as late as you need me to tonight, but don't expect me there tomorrow. And usually bosses were okay with that. I would say, and don't bother me. I'll be back the next day. But if I'm going to work until like 2 or 3 in the morning, then I need to reset because I just can't do it anymore. So know your limits, hold those limits, and make sure you're getting enough sleep. So basically no more fears. 8 and 9 of swords are very interesting. The main difference between the 8 and the 9 is the 9 is one that we create. The 8 is a lot of times just sort of like, oh, I didn't see that, or I wasn't ready to see this, or I feel trapped. So I feel like you're realizing that much of this is built up in your head. So 9 of swords is saying, I am just I'm making this worse than I need to make it. So let me focus on what I can control, and let me make sure that I'm entering into it with a rested and a clear mind. So get enough rest, enough sleep, enough meditation so that you can enter into something without fear. So take it easy on Saturday. Take care of yourself. Don't overwork yourself. And if you work like I do on the weekends, make sure that you have days off as well. Okay. And then we have the 2 next to each other. So it's 8 and 9, and they're brother and sister energy right next to each other, basically. So this is, I'm making it worse than I need to, but I'm ready to kind of walk out of it. And this is like, how do I get out of a situation? So the simple answer to the 8 of swords on Sunday is to say no. It's also to be inquisitive. Like if you don't want to do something, don't do it. If you feel trapped in something, ask why you have to do it. And the other thing with the 8 of swords is this person can always kind of like easily just take a step forward or take a step back. The swords are scary because they're around them, but there is a way to navigate. So sometimes it takes a while to get into a situation. It can take a while to get out. This one, we want to take the blindfold off. So get clarity, ask questions, bring things to light. Even if another person doesn't want to look at it, you need to talk about it. This one is about not getting into your headspace too much. I think if you focus on this one will go away. And especially if you are honest, accountable, and do what you say you're going to do, maybe these both go away, because this creates the headache that we see here. Okay? So I honestly think these go away if this one is managed. Because these all work together. 7, 8, and 9, they're all friends. This one leads to the panicky energy that we sometimes get with this. Next weekend, if I were just to kind of like clarify how to make these days great days, because the weekend days should be great. So rest up and don't worry so much. Talk to some other people and give something a shot. It's better than you think. Your fears are only exacerbating a situation. And then be very bold on Sunday and don't do something if you don't have the information. Delay if you need to. Say, yeah, I'll take a look at that. Let me research it and we'll regroup on Monday. So use time to your benefit next weekend and push things off a little bit. Clear out your mind, clear out your energy, clear out your space a little bit, and then start the new week on a clean slate. Okay, because there's not going to be a lot of your productive days. We'll just regroup here. Today's a fantastic day. Anything you want to do, you can do, and you'll do it better than you think. On Monday, a lot of independent work is being supported. On Tuesday, you're going to be asked to take something and own it or fix it. On Wednesday, be honest, be accountable, and be responsible, and you'll be able to overcome this. On Thursday, you have to feel whatever you're going to connect with, so make sure that the passion or the vitality is there. Don't say yes to something that doesn't feel right. You may have to take an idea and improve upon it. You may be overthinking something, so don't. Everything comes into focus on Friday, even if it does in a slow manner. You're still going to have a great day. By the time the weekend hits, you want to be restful and kind and have some fun on Saturday. On Sunday, get another point of view, research, sit with something, don't act immediately. And that's the key to having a successful 7 days ahead of you. All right, so let's go ahead now and arrange the cards up here so that we have a little bit more space to get into the next portion of the reading. If you just joined, perfect timing. We just went through the 7-day forecast. So the next portion that we're going to look at is blessings and blocks. And I'll use some of the other decks that didn't win for this. maybe some different ones here that I'm called to look at as well. All right. So let's see what's calling to me. I will, for this one, I like this deck as well. So we'll take a look at the St. Croix deck for the blessings and blocks. So blessings and blocks, pretty self-explanatory. This is something to look forward to in the week ahead, something that's going to help you out for the blessing. And then for the block, something that you can transmute a little bit. A lot of times these are blessings in disguises or blocks that aren't really as much of a block as they feel like. Okay, so 2 blessings. And here's our block. You know what? They're all pretty good, I have to say. So let's begin with the blessing cards. So here we have the Knight of Wands. This knight always strikes me as a king because he kind of has the trident there. But so the blessing, it's the ability to take an idea and develop it further. It's the ability to get people to follow. So for this lovely Queen of Wands here, we also now have a follower or someone that's going to be there on their side. So the blessing this week is someone, an ally, steps into the picture and says, yeah, I'll support you, or I'll get behind that, or I like what you're saying. Let's see where that leads. Let's give it a shot. So you have a hidden support somewhere there. You also have the ability to articulate or record or somehow bring some motion or action to these thoughts and ideas as well. So this is a good time to brainstorm, to write, record, or illustrate whatever it is that you're doing. I talk about dream journals, and again, this can be your dream journal. You can just tap it into, an email, a note application, whatever it is that you like to do, or you can dictate it through voice. Just make sure that there's a recording of what's coming through, because if you can record that, these two together are quite auspicious. Again, because this shows movement in a forward direction, and this shows like a record of that, and also maybe something where other people can get excited about it. For some of you that are teachers and coaches and leaders, that can be a kind of curriculum or something that might be shared on social media. So somehow get a record of what you're thinking about doing and share that, because I think that's going to be important. Or record what it is that what that's coming through you. Just be an open channel. Okay. Your block is, what do you want to do? 2 of Wands only works if you really, power cord just slipped in the background here. What I was going to say is the 2 of Swords is only really, really effective when you know where you're going. 2 of Wands rather. Otherwise, you're in the 2 of Swords energy, because it's sort of like blindfolded, the blind leading the blind. The 2 of Wands is one of the best cards in tarot because as you can see here, it helps with manifestation. It's a sister card to the High Priestess, because in order to really effectively manifest and to pick up on what you need to be focusing on, you need to have some sort of an idea of where you want to go next. So do yourself a favor and really focus on developing what's next and what you want and what's possible, and try not to limit those possibilities. Let the universe at large sort of say, I can do this or I can't do this, right? And just all you have to kind of enter into is the energy of what if ... why not ... and let the universe show you why not, or why perhaps. So, because I feel like there's a lot of possibilities, and sometimes we discount them because we were told that it's impractical, that it's expensive, that it's not what's expected, that you're lacking some sort of key quality. Let the universe decide if indeed that's the case, okay? Because I don't think it is, based on what I'm looking at. All right, I believe we're going to look at the elemental forecast next. So let's get into the elements, and let me decide which deck I want to use for this one. Let's see. I will select all the ones that we voted from. They just get lower, not as many sort of, the ones that didn't get as many votes we'll just use for fewer cards. All right, so while I'm shuffling this, we'll talk about it. So everything that I look at today is for everyone that's present, except this portion. This is where we're going to get into the elements, and we'll break it down to 3 signs for each element. So you'll get something specific to your sign. And you can also use this little portion as sun, rising, and moon as well. So you you can get a lot out of this piece. So for those of you that like a really short reading, you can watch just this piece this week if you need to come back to it and get like a 1-card pull for your sign if you want to know how to use this. All right, so let me go ahead now and select the cards for the elements, and we'll go from there. Fire, earth, hello, air, and water. All right, so let's go ahead now and begin with the fire signs. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. All right, so we have the 7 of Wands. It's reversed. It's such a beautiful illustration of the 7 of Wands, though. Look at what power and what energy you have when you push back a little bit. So in just a moment here, I'll see if I can find the traditional 7 of Wands. I think it's pretty close, but typically we would see someone in a sort of defensive stance on this. Yeah, it's right here. I saw it when I was shuffling through. So here's your traditional 7 of Wands, and here's the 7 of Wands as illustrated. So what we see in the difference here is this person is kind of pushing back and spending a lot of time saying, I don't want to do this, or pulling on so much and saying, I have to do all of this. There's usually like delegation that's lacking, or a control freak sort of thing where it's like, I have to do all of this. Simply saying no, not yet, tomorrow, etc. will help you get to the success of 6 of Wands or the productive energy of the 8 of Wands. What we can see here is all you have to do is focus on one thing. All that other stuff, it's nice, but it's possibly pulling you away from the one clear path, and that's why this came through reverse. 1, don't burn the candle at both ends. So if you're exhausted, lacking sleep and energy, like we saw with next Saturday and Sunday, the 9 and 8 of Swords respectively, pull back and get the rest. But for the rest of you, clear the brush, clear the nonsense, and focus on one thing where you can see the maximum level of return on your energy, on your investment, and it's going to feel like so much better. So work more intelligently. Don't just work hard, work smart, or work smarter. And again, saying no being a common thread throughout a lot of these cards today. Okay, fire signs, you've got this, especially when we see this lovely light of inspiration here. You just have to realize that sometimes it's better to let go of something, sometimes saying no is stronger, and that when you focus on what matters, you just have more to give. So I think for those of you that are mothers, fathers, bosses, or again, maybe just very particular in how you want stuff done, this will be the most challenging for you. For the rest of you, let it go, focus, and you're going to get excited. And then the other thing that we can see with this particular illustration only, this is the only time I would intuitively interpret it as such, but people are looking to somebody to lead the way. So in that sea of 7 of Wands, I actually feel like there's a little bit of competitive energy. And actually, I would read it this way if I was looking at someone that was job searching, for instance. This is competition. And it's good competition, actually. Formidable competition. But you're part of that. You're part of the cream of the crop. So how do you stand out? Because everyone else is just a plain old wand. This one is a torch. So what can you do to show your light and show your energy and stand out? This is where it's better not to blend in. It's better not to do everything that's expected. And maybe there's something that you can do like in conversation or in meeting that can make the difference. It's hard nowadays even when you're trying to date. So whether it's dating or whether it's applying for a job or almost anything, it starts off with a digital sort of connection. You have to put in a ticket. You have to, apply online. You have to swipe in a direction, whatever it is. It feels like there's all these things, and then you have to wait for a computer, an AI, or a person to react. So if there's even a way to get attention beyond that process, that's key too. Word of mouth, a referral, someone that can kind of circumvent that system that's not very inviting or engaging might also be key. All right? Be yourself, be bold. Moving from fire to earth, now we're looking at Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. You have temperance. Temperance was associated with the energy of Friday when I was looking at the 7-day forecast. And we have two different cards here. So this Friday card that we picked up was saying one step at a time. This one is saying that sometimes in order to bring forth change and movement, we have to realize that it took a while to get where it was. It'll take a while for that shifting and that movement to happen. So if I look really closely on this, we actually see sort of like a mix of fire and water. So the bird is crying. We see like tears, or maybe it's rain. And then we see the fire here that was kind of showing up for all of our fire signs this month as well, or this week as well. So the Temperance card is saying, protect what matters most from the water, from the rain, from the tears, but also fan the flames of what it is that you are inspired to see grow or change or move in your life. And keep doing that every day. Be patient and persistent with it. There's a diligence in this particular Temperance card that we wouldn't see in the traditional one. And that's why I love working with multiple decks as a reader. I can see the same card and get different energies. And for intuitive readers, it's a fun part. So that's why I'm like, let's just read with them all today. They all got a decent amount. All right, so Temperance, it's going to take time to do what you want to do for all of my earth signs out there. So I feel like if I was going to deliver that message to any triad of signs, I think that Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn can deal with it. Capricorn probably the best, followed by Virgo, and Taurus, you could be a little impatient on this one, but what you want to do is ground yourself in why it's important, and then focus on, it could, my guides are saying, like, take a picture. So it's almost like when we're little kids and you trace your height and you kind of like put a little pencil mark on the wall. You don't notice the growth spurts until you do that. Or if you take a picture of your house once a year and sort of look at how the trees and the flowers grow, you have to look at that. So take a snapshot so you can see the progress, or have someone else come in and see if they can notice the change. You need a perspective shift so that you can see that you're really treading more than you think you are. But if you're looking at yourself every day, you can't see the changes. This is especially true when you're making changes in diet and exercise. But someone who hasn't seen you for a month, they'll be like, what are you doing? You look great. What's going on? So it's those little differences that other people will pick up on faster than we do. All right. So my message for you is don't give up. Keep moving forward one step at a time. And if you were to take a step back, or if you were to look at yourself now and then look at yourself maybe 2 months ago, you would see the difference, side by side. Energetically, if nothing else. So that's great news overall for Earth. Just be patient with yourself. Moving from Earth to my air signs. So Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. For you, you're deciding enough is enough. You're breaking a cycle. This is one of the coolest 8 of Cups cards because you always have a choice to come back. And this card is saying enough. I don't want to come back anymore. I'll show you the traditional 8 of Cups. I think we're all pretty familiar with it. But normally you see someone walking along a beach, something I did yesterday, which was fun, or I walked along a pier anyway. But there's always room to come back. There's space. Here we go. Here's your traditional 8 of Cups. Even though there is actually 8 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's 8, and there's kind of room for a 9th to come here. The idea is this person is carrying a cup with them, or there's room for them to come back here. Even there are 8, there aren't 7, there are 8 cups, but there's room for this person to come back and add more to the equation. So what this card can represent is second chances, karma, in the same way that the 8 of Pentacles can, because it's a karmic cycle. The 8 of Pentacles is more of a karmic lesson. And so what I see with this is a cycle that's ending and a door that's going to be shut. But it seems to me like it's a mindful closure. So, and another word for this would just be closure. You're finally going to get the closure that you need for someone or something, and that gives you permission to embark upon a new path. You're not constantly looking over your shoulder, thinking, am I missing out? Was that the one? Is this something I need to go back to? You're thinking, all right, enough now. Let's focus on something new. Let's break the cycle and experience something different. So I think this is a very cool moment in time for you. What can you focus on this week? Planning, dreaming, researching, booking a sort of vacation for the future or something like that. I want you to be very future-oriented this week. And I think that's something, again, these messages are nicely sort of like fashioned for each element. So I think air can deal with this. You no longer have to wrap your head around something in the past. You can start to dream and explore something in the future. And once and for all, if you are in the process of breaking a cycle or breaking up or closing a chapter in your life, fully get the closure so that there's no more boomerang stuff, okay? because that's going to help you have an amazing, next 2 to 3 months in the summer here. And I want that for all of you. Closure, closure, closure. All right, moving now on to my water signs out there, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I love this card. It's a different illustration for the Four of Pentacles. Normally, I'm not a big fan of the Four of Pentacles. But what we see with this one is the foundational energy. If I were to read with like a Thoth-inspired deck, you do sort of see it more foundational in that. So we're going to take that element on it. So the message I always like to deliver with the Four of Pentacles is, this is the beginning. It is not as good as it gets. So if you are feeling like you want or you need more, I'm validating that. Yes, you should get more. Continue to build upon what you've worked on if it's something that you've started and it's something that you're owning, like a project or an activity. Now, if someone in your life is not giving what they need, they're not paying you what you deserve, they're not investing what they should in a relationship, here's the cool thing. Look at all the little rubber bands connected to these pentacles. Just tug a little bit back and say, no, I'm not going to do that. Or give them some of what they need to do back and say, fine. If you can't give this, then I can't do that. They're going to feel the sort of like, well, all right, I'll give you a little bit more. Maybe I'll give you even a little bit more than I imagine. So push back if you need to, and let go if you need to. Because the traditional card would show someone hanging on to a coin for dear life for fear that that's all that there is. If I let go of this, maybe that's it. We talk about the devil. The devil is still a devil. The lesser evil is still evil. So we need to stop kind of looking at those sorts of things. Let go of something if it isn't good. Get your safety net in order first so you know what's next, but you don't have to keep holding on to something that doesn't feel right for you. More importantly, this is a building card, so start to build on top of it. You have the basics together. Now you have to figure out the Four of Pentacles is focusing on the heart, which we talked about earlier in the 7-day forecast, particularly when I was looking at Thursday, the Ace of Wands. What do you want? This is my main question for water out there. What do you want? What are you dreaming of? And even when we looked at the Two of Wands, the Ace and the Two of Wands are coming through to say, what do you want? You put them together, we get the Three of Wands. It starts to happen faster. And so if someone isn't willing or ready to give it to you, when you know what you want, you'll see how to get there, or someone else will understand like, hey, we're on the same vibe, let's partner up. I think there's a better match out there for you, but a little bit of work has to be done internally to decide, this is who I am, this is what I want, and I'm not going to accept less than this. You deserve the best. You deserve more. I can say that without hesitation for the Four of Pentacles. There's just a question internally of when you realize that you're ready to receive more. So open yourself up to receive. And again, if I was going to do that for an element, cups or water would be where I would put that, because you're good at receiving. You just have to put yourself first this week, which can be hard sometimes, because if you are a caretaker or someone that just has a big heart, you always want to put someone else first, and I understand that. Overall, if we were just to look at all four of these cards, they're pretty good. So I like to always look at the story here. This is about, as we're looking at fire, again, to stand out from the crowd, to focus on one thing that you can really control and let the other stuff go away. You don't have to be a control freak. Again, for looking at earth here, fan the flame of inspiration, fan that sort of internal spark. Let go of whatever you need to as well. Let go of the emotional component and focus more on taking one step at a time, being patient, and remembering that anything worth doing can take time sometimes, so don't give up. Breaking a cycle and getting closure is what I saw for air signs. So do it. Allow yourself to be untethered as you step into the next month. We're almost through this month, just one more collective, and then we're into July. So let's get the closure that you need, air signs, so that July can truly be a month of freedom and independence, which is appropriate. And then as we look at water, just open yourself up to receive more. This is not the limit. This is not enough in many cases. So you deserve more, you can receive more, and now you just have to decide when you're ready to be there. But overall, the cards are pretty good. We did not get the Tower. We did not get the Ten of Swords. There was no Devil there. The only challenging cards came up for us collectively about a week from now. We have 7 days to fix that and to change it and shift it. So I hope by the time I'm reading next weekend, it's a eureka moment and everything's good. And that's why we meet here. All right. Let's see. I feel like I want to flip this around and go straight now into the special topic, because I think that we can look at blessings and blocks a little, or not the blessings and blocks, but the viewers and readers choice a little bit better after I go into the main portion of the reading. So yeah, let me reset everything on the table, and then let's go into the main reading, and then I feel like we'll have a better opportunity to kind of look at the viewers and readers choice. Okay. Sometimes I can change the schedule around. I'm making this up to fit the topic and to fit the energy, so a little bit of flexibility is good. All right, so I put it to the side here. We're going to use Raven's Prophecy. I'm glad we're changing things up a little bit. This is a great deck, and I think you'll like it. I just read for Scorpio this past week with it, and I was happy that it came back out of the archives. So let's see now what's coming through. We're looking at the special topic. Messages from your guides, rather. And I like this because we're going to get a lot of messages today. We already have, actually. This portion can be seen as timeless or evergreen. So, if you ever just are needing a little bit of guidance, you can always come to this. But let's see what the universe has in store for you. Another Queen of Wands, interesting. Okay. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully your weekend is going well. Yeah, I just changed up the expanded forecast cards, and I also love this. I think that this is it's a fun deck to read with, and the simplicity of the imagery actually is kind of cool. So without further delay, messages from your guides. Beginning with the Catalyst card. Catalyst, just like it sounds, it's going to help you find that spark, because we kept seeing that coming through for this next week ahead. If you're feeling uninspired, if you are lacking vitality or energy or passion, let's look and see what this Catalyst can do to help. So a lot of earth energy coming through today. We have the earth spirit, stability. So when I'm looking at the earth energy in general, one thing that I like to do is actually get my hands dirty sometimes. So, I will randomly, today we're not going to do it because I just did it a couple days ago, but I'll pull plants in from the back porch. But I probably have, 15 pots or something, different sizes. Some are really small, some are bigger. But I like to go out and do a little bit of gardening on the back porch, hang out with my dog. Yesterday was nice. Again, even though it was only a couple of hours meeting someone for a lunch, I got a chance to walk out on a pier, see a pelican, smell the fresh water, and it was just nice to change environments a little bit too. But getting into the elements, getting into nature, it's not just about the ground, like even going to the beach or going out to a park or hiking. These things can actually help you quite a bit to clear your head, because you get to ground the energy a bit. For those of you that live in the city, or the weather's inclement, it's not very supportive of going outside, you can still meditate with that sort of vision in mind, or just going out and leaning against a tree is something I used to do on a lunch break when I would have a job, a 9-to-5 job. I would make sure that maybe you could just talk, you pretend like you're talking on your phone, or you could just kind of find a park and just sit against it for a little bit and, scribble in your sketchbook or something. But the tree energy is really good. If you can just go out and touch a tree today and connect with that energy, and whatever you don't need, you can offer it to the tree and just kind of breathe The breath in and of itself is a gift, and you just kind of let it go and ground it, and that's it. It's a great way to get rid of stuff. Now, for those of you that are like, all right, this is way too out there, then put something into a concrete sort of writing. Get it into like when I think of Earth, I think of pentacles and I think of practicality. So scribble it out, sketch it out, start to explore something. But for most of us, I think this card is really about getting out into nature and finding our footing, finding who we are again, because we spend a lot of times in our day-to-day lives helping, supporting, listening, healing others. So do a little bit to do that for yourself, and then put something concrete into your own vision, your planning, your vision board, or whatever it is that you want to do for yourself. Okay? All right. But yes, physically getting outside and gardening, just hanging out in a park or hanging out in nature is going to be really, really beneficial. All right, we have the King of Pentacles at the center, which is, again, part of that energy of Earth. The King of Pentacles is reversed, and it's sort of reminding you all the things that I talked about with the Queen of Pentacles reversed. House and home is really important whenever we go to these two King and Queen of Pentacles, because they're like the mother and father card. The interesting thing on this one, and happy Father's Day, we have the King of Coins here. So there is the rose and the thorns. So when it comes to relationships, I would say paternal, mentorship, teacher relationships, brother relationships. This card is actually, it makes sense here. Sometimes it's hard to get to know older divine masculine energy in our life, or even some that's younger, because they've been taught to put up all of these defenses. So if there's someone in your life and they tend to kind of put up the porcupine energy that we see with the thorns here, do your best to find the rose, do your best to stay open, but also remember when it comes to key relationships in your life, not to force it. If someone is constantly kind of putting out those thorns, you have to respect that and think, well, they're not ready yet for this kind of energy. I don't want to invade their space. So picking up on cues is going to be key. Remembering that all relationships are give and take. There's always thorns that go along with the roses. So make sure that things are balanced. When the imbalance occurs, that's when it's time to sort of like step back. I think it is okay to let the person come to you if they're the last one that kind of put up that thorn. Remember that it's reciprocity, that you don't have to overdo it. And that's what we see here with this card, is an offering. The Six of Pentacles. I like that there's so many roses in the Pentacles. It's a cool sort of vibe for it. So with the Six of Pentacles is balance. And I think the biggest thing for many of you is finding, for some of you, like balance in the relationship. I don't have to do everything. I don't have to hold up the fort. I can do some of this, but not all of this. So knowing your limits, knowing your boundaries, that's the first thing that I pick up on this card. The other thing here, we're going to go to the finances. You have what it takes to get stuff done. The Six of Pentacles is my bare minimum card with respect to, can I do this? But what's required of this is a few nips and tucks and twists and turns on that sort of schedule. So let's say you're trying to renovate a house. It may mean that you can still have tile floor, but you may not be able to import the fancy Italian marble that you wanted. It might be a different kind of tile. So you just have to kind of like make some concessions here and there, but you still get the style or the vibe that you were looking for. And when it comes to overall budget in general, it means that you can have most of what you want, but you have to adjust one of these things. The timing, like I can do this now and this later, and together it's everything I wanted, but just not in the time that I originally thought. You can change scope. You can say, you know what, this is not important, but this is. So you can reduce scope, you can lengthen time, or you can that's really it. Because if you don't have the money component, you really have to look at scoping, the scope of it or the timing of it. And I think that will help you make a wiser decision on this. Okay. So saying no, and then figuring out if everything is necessary or if everything's necessary now. If you do that, you'll be okay. If you are dealing with someone in your life, sometimes they can be focused on themselves a lot. And the challenge for you is to try to make sure that you're getting enough out of the relationships. The Six of Pentacles in a partnership is manageable. It's not ideal, but it's manageable. It means that you enter into it knowing that the person that you are currently dating or married to or interested in either requires additional assistance, maybe because of any number of things. It could be physical, mental, or just how they are. So there may be something where you know that that person just requires more support, or they just like more attention, or they just have a little bit less training and intuition when it comes to understanding your cues. So what you can do in that case is, if it is just a lack of tuning in, tell them what you want. It might not be ideal to you. You want someone to come in and just anticipate and know everything, but give them the key to success. Say, it would make my day if you did this and this. And then if you want something, I'll help you out with it, but these are the things I need. And I love it when you do this. Thank you for doing that. I don't like it when you do this. Tell them, because they may need that clarity. And you could also say, this is the 4th time in a row we've done what you wanted. I'd like to do this today. And just put it out there, and maybe they'll bristle for a second, but they'll think, yeah, you're right. So you're going to have to steer the ship a little bit if that's the relationship that you're in. For the rest of you, this is more of a financial sort of message about balancing things and realizing that you can have most, but not everything of what you want because of the limitations and resources. So you want to continue to grow and get that financial freedom, because eventually that'll allow you to do what you need to do. All right. As we look into the deep past, we have the Two of Wands. Hello, it's coming through time and again today, which is cool. The Two of Wands is showing that you start to see the rapid movement when you clarify your vision. For some of you, you needed to go through the fire. So maybe you needed to go through a really difficult situation to know what you didn't want. So this card is saying, because it's in the past, it wasn't a mistake, it was a lesson. Cherish the lesson and don't repeat it. And then you didn't waste any time. You just maybe received a more difficult lesson than some did, and that's okay. When you think back to school, sometimes it's the toughest teacher that you remember, right? I remember one in I guess it was my senior year of high school. Traditionally in English and in any sort of journalism or writing or literature class, I always got an A, but this teacher gave me, it wasn't a B, it was just a solid B, but there were some of my research papers and things of that nature where maybe it was even like a B minus, and I thought, what's going on? I worked really, really, really hard, and then eventually she gave me like an A plus with honors, and it meant so much because it was like, you don't know how hard I had to work in that class. It was a advanced placement English, so it wasn't the traditional one. I was taking like college level classes, and then I got credit for it. So I was out of my league a little bit, but it was good. It was actually cool to be put in that zone where I had to stretch a little bit. So that was an example of me putting myself in the fire so that I could burn away a little bit of the ego, burn away a little bit of the sort of feelings, and then just get better. And coming through that, I felt better. I felt like, wow, I can do anything now. If I could get, an A plus with honors. This teacher was a lawyer too at one point. She was very fair, and if you missed something or didn't do what you were supposed to do, she just put it out there. So I knew that I was dealing with a just person, and I just thought, wow, I really need to step up my game. And I did, and it helped me in college and it helped me in life. A couple of teachers from school, they were tough on me, and I kept their methodology in the future, and I'm glad they were tough on me. So what I'm getting through this is, you went through something, it was a hard lesson, but you're not gonna ever repeat it again because you learned everything that you needed to, okay? So spiritually got an A plus, even though going through it, it just felt like you wanted to pull your hair out, but it's okay. This is the most important card so far that we've received. So we have Justice here. I was just talking about the lawyer. I like that we see the feather. That goes back to Egyptian mythology. You measure the feather in the heart, and basically making sure that your heart is light and free, isn't heavy with the deeds of life. But the Justice card in reverse can be a little different when I'm reading for you. What it's saying is there could be disbelief. I'm not deserving of this. I can't do this, or this won't happen to me. Sometimes we got a little burned by the fire. And even though you got through it, there is this fear like, will it ever work out? Will I ever be okay? Is this ever going to happen? And I think that's why this Earth card came through. Ground yourself, get a little bit of perspective on this, and realize that was one maybe very difficult situation in your life, or maybe it's been a long time waiting, because this is a card of dreaming for the future. So the bird is flying now, so it's saying I'm going to go past the dreaming into the doing. So if that isn't coming to me, the Three of Wands is meeting the ships on the horizon, or on the dock, basically. So get closer to where whatever it is that you want to happen will happen. So again, moving it forward and thinking to yourself, I can, I will, and I am doing this, accomplishing this, drawing this into my life. I am deserving of it. I will receive it. I am not liking the sort of doubt that I feel anymore, so I'm going to release it. It's also saying find the balance in your life, wherever it's lacking. If you're working too much and not putting the energy into friendships and relationships, clear that out. If you are focusing too much on fun, but you're letting your responsibilities go to the side, fix that as well. If you're feeling a lack of emotional stability, then talk to somebody, by all means. That's a sign of strength. Somewhere, there's something that needs to be balanced out. You can do that. And if you need to say no, this is the ultimate card for saying no, Justice reversed. And so all you have to do, though, is feel the freedom to let the words out of your mouth, or realize it's okay to say no, because I already get the negative. If the negative is overly critical of yourself, that's what we're trying to release. If the negative is, I don't want this, then say you don't want this, and that's okay. All right? Now we have the Ace of Swords here in the crowning position. It's reversed, so there's a revision sort of energy that enters in with Ace of Swords in reverse. It's saying, I am willing at this point to admit that maybe I can change my mind on this. I'm not afraid to change myself. I'm not afraid of change in general, since death came through when I was looking at your channel messages. So this is taking ownership of the change. Let's look at the card in its traditional sort of upright position. I love that it's reaching for the light, right? So remember, as you're using your words and as you're acting out whatever it is that you're doing, to always stay in that light and reach for the highest possible outcome. And this card is basically saying the power of positivity is key. If you need to be critical, if you need to edit, do so with a constructive and graceful element, and then get back into reaching for what's available. So I actually think that this could be really effective in conversations over the next week and the next month. Many of you may be faced with someone in your life that they need to be inspired a little bit, as well as maybe led on the right path. So if it's someone that you oversee at work, if it's a child that you're responsible for being the guardian or parent of, and they did something wrong, then what you want to do is acknowledge what was wrong, but then tell them why you believe in that they can turn this around. Just say, this isn't like you, and I know that you know it's wrong, but I need to tell you why, and then let's figure out how to fix this together. Like, help them see that there's a better path and that you see the light within them. Say, you're a good kid and this isn't like you. Why did you do it? What are we going to do to remedy it? And as long as you fix it, we're good. If you don't, we have a deeper conversation we have to have. But I don't want to see it again. That's it. You just sort of do it that way. But I believe in you, and I believe that this is not indicative of you and what you have to offer. And I think that's kind of a good way to, we saw the Seven of Swords pop up midweek. That's a nice way to call it out. This is not you. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? How can I help you stop doing this? And that's a way to be very firm, very loving, and say, I'm still your advocate, but you got to fix this. Otherwise, we have to talk. Whenever you have to talk, you know that things are a bigger deal. So that's my advice there. Be kind to yourself. Don't be overly critical. Focus on the light. Focus on what's positive and what's possible, and you'll be in a good shape. All right. The Moon card, near future. So moving beyond this week, probably towards the midpoint of the upcoming month, we have the Moon coming in, and it's saying, all right, I'm getting closer to dealing with one of my fears or my anxieties. And one of them could just be sort of like the fear of the worst case scenario happening. This is you knowing it's probably not. And this is you focusing on what you can control. So try to get above emotional stuff. You may need to talk to someone if that's coming through, but fears and anxieties are always a part of the Moon. It's also a highly intuitive card. So if you are receiving divine sort of guidance here where it's like, I gotta do this. I know I have to do this. I'm ready to do this. This is saying, let's act upon it. The worst thing that could happen is it maybe takes a little longer or someone says no. The surefire way to fail is to not do. So as long as you try, the universe is giving you, applause in the background. It's like, great, we'll either help you learn from this or help you succeed now that you're trying. But by not trying, then you're actually manifesting your fear. So give it the best possible effort you can and either hit it out of the park or get further on the path than you thought you could get, and you're going to be okay. The moon card is also about honesty. So that's why we get a common theme in both the 7-day spread and in this spread about accountability. It's a little bit more manageable here so far, although we do have the devil here. So, okay. As we look at this, the moon, the devil, and the fool, we're really asking for someone to come clean or for you to be accountable or something to kind of come to a head. And then there's this liberation. There's no more control. There's no more hiding. There's no more lies. So the big theme here that's presenting and availing itself, not just this week, but again, this tends to be more like a month. You're going to have this opportunity to liberate yourself from a limiting person or toxic situation or something that wasn't the truth. You come out. You are free. So to me, that's exciting as well. And I'll try to help you go through that. The first thing is to not be afraid to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about it. So getting the words out is key. Writing it down is really important when you have one of those conversations. And I talked about this a little bit in the Authentic You reading that I did, but just don't ask for permission or like basically if you're trying to say something important in your life, just say, this is who I am, this is what I believe, this is what needs to be done. Can I count on you? Particularly if you're calling someone to action. You're not asking for permission to do the right thing. And I think that's the key thing here. You know that this is a question of what's right or wrong. So the moon and the devil, and we saw the 7 of Swords earlier, these are all cards of needing to get something out. The longer that it's there, the more that it festers. So now you're going to talk about the elephant in the room. The devil card typically is limiting thoughts, limiting people, limits in general. The only thing that differentiates the devil card, well, there's a couple, but the big difference besides the devil, between the devils and the lovers, is chains that holds these two people together. And they don't look at each other. So in the lovers card, they're in the Garden of Eden. They're reaching out towards each other. There's an angel behind them. It's beautiful. Devil card, El Diablo is behind them. They are chained together, and they typically aren't looking at each other, or they're kind of looking slightly away. So face-to-face conversations are key. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit the other person in being able to discuss or talk about certain things. And when you are honest, when you are unconditional in love and acceptance, the devil fades away. That's all we need to do is look at the reverse of the darkness in a card, and that gives you the key to the success. So I can find positivity in any card, including the devil card. So unconditional love, if it doesn't exist, it needs to exist. If someone can't give it to you, that's a clear sign that you should walk away and let them grow. If there's something that is not just looks too good to be true, but is too good to be true, go beyond the surface and figure out what's being hidden. When signing a contract, I would say right now in this particular zone, you need to wait. Make sure that you trust the person that you're doing it with, and make sure that you have an ironclad contract that helps you out. Get a lawyer, a good lawyer, to take a look at something, and don't agree to more than you can do, because this is a contract. This is an unreasonable contract. This is something that you can't talk about. So there could be like an NDA or something of that nature. This can also be in a family a secret that shouldn't be kept anymore. Maybe it's about adoption. Maybe it's about any number of things where it's sort of like, or abuse, or a lie, there was an affair or something. It needs to come through. It needs to come out so people can heal. So there's something that's uncomfortable that needs to be dealt with. The moment that it's dealt with, liberation starts to happen. Freedom, a chance to be reborn and to kind of look at something from a different perspective. Some of you are just in a relationship or a job that is not ideal. You wanted to leave for a while. It's been hard to talk to that person about it. And at this point in time, it's time to move on. So whether it's a job, it could also be like me where I'm living in an apartment complex where they're not listening to complaints about the noise and all of that. So it can be a living situation. It can be a relationship. It can be a boss. Whoever it is, it feels like they're not receptive. So when you're dealing with the devil energy, it's always going to benefit the person that's personified by the devil. So back to, especially this is hitting for my water signs. You deserve more, remembering the Four of Pentacles, right? So this is not as good as it gets. There is something better. You can do this. But for everybody this week and everybody right now, because we're reading collective messages from the guides, it's time to be honest. It's time to spread your wings and don't accept less than the best. Definitely an echoing message that keeps coming through for today. Okay? Be picky. That's why it's taking me longer. I've probably seen almost 20 places or so, but I haven't found the right match. And I want to make sure that this next one I can, I don't have to immediately move unless I want to. All right. This card is really cool. It's travel, it's freedom, it's exploration, it's taking a chance, it's taking a leap. So the main message here from your guides in the peanut gallery is they're kind of cheering you on, and they're sort of saying, why not? Let's give this a shot. I like to think of the Fool. It's not always the first time around. So in tarot, we only have 21 cards in the major arcana, and then the Fool can be your second or third or fourth time around. And that's what I'm seeing here, is that taking all the lessons and beginning with the wisdom of the past. That's really what needs to happen right now. Maturity. You're being asked to be more mature than the people around you. Reach for that higher light. Look at in each of these cards how the sun is pulling this person in the right direction. So when it comes to saying or acting, you're being guided. When it comes to taking the next action, you're being guided. I'm here to kind of validate things, but you've already been shown the path. So I'm just here to tell you that it's okay to take it, because for some of you there's disbelief, and I'm not sure why. It could just be ingrained, but there's no need for the disbelief anymore. Okay. Moving on to hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have flames coming out of the mouth. This is really interesting for the Queen of Wands. I had to look at it really close. So it's kind of like she's blowing flames through her, or she's fanning the flames with her sort of like her voice. Something I would normally sort of see with, Queen of Swords is just good at communication and good at leadership and doing the right thing. What I'm seeing with this is that your words, you can actually get people worked up, excited in a good way. So let's say that there's something really important that needs to get done. You can light the fire that helps make this happen today. Don't underestimate. You don't have to, it's not how many words you say, it's how you communicate them. And it's how you kind of like mind, body, and spirit embody what you're trying to communicate. So less is more, but really put the passion into what you're saying and what you're doing. Also, we could combine this and say it's important to do what you say and say what you do. So there you go. Queen of Wands, as I said before, is magical. So this is interesting because it's a very throat-based illustration for the Queen of Wands. So you may find that talking your way through a situation helps you figure it out. So whether you're talking to your dog or cat or you're talking to a friend, talk out loud a little bit and practice and keep working it through a little bit, because you'll come upon a solution. Back when my mom was alive, sometimes I would just call and say, I don't need advice, I just need to talk through this. And she would just listen. And I would end up solving it on the phone. And so now I just talk to my dog or talk to myself, and I figure things out, because you need to kind of hear how it sounds sometimes. That's why this is really effective. That's why I actually like a live reading with all of you versus pre-recorded, because I only have a set amount of time. I have to try to do it within a couple of hours if I can. And I have to just show up, and I can't overthink it. And as we talk through it, clarity happens. So you can actually channel like from the crown to the throat and avoid all the other stuff sometimes, and just open this up and allow clarity to come through in your life. So this is why talking to a therapist is so effective, or a friend or a parent or yourself. Just talk. That's the key. Talk it out and you'll find a solution. 10 of Pentacles in the outcome. I really do love all the roses that they chose. It's kind of cool, rather than certain decks will use rocks, or for instance, or whatever. The roses are a nice change. and it grows from the earth. I guess I get why they use them. But anyway, Ten of Pentacles. Everything's coming up roses. I feel like you're headed on the right path here. Ten of Pentacles in a traditional illustration, which I'll pull just because these are so far out there. It's kind of why I like this deck too. But the Ten of Pentacles can connect you to, for those of you that are looking for sort of like a place to fit in. This can be a community or a chosen family. Or if you're like me and there's not a lot of living relatives anymore, it's sort of like connecting with that group of friends and feeling like, I found my home, I found my vibe. So chosen family, it's also really good for advancement in work and money. And it's all tens indicate an end of a cycle or an expansion into a larger cycle. So here you can see everything that would constitute the Ten of Pentacles. Even though I like all the other decks, I always go back to Rider-Waite-Smith because it contains all the symbology that we need. So you see friends, family, the marital kind of energy there, the contracts, and again, money and abundance. And typically, the Ten of Pentacles hits on all of that. So there's themes of, back to what we talked about earlier. As I'm reading this, I feel like an activation kind of around my third eye, which is interesting. But what I was talking about with this was the importance of finding that sort of, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, money and love. There's a combination of these two things, because when I was channeling messages, I got Death and Lovers and Eight of Pentacles. So this is showing that there's going to be a resolution with all of this, but that's what I see here are big themes of love and money. So when it comes to relationships and marriages in your life, make sure that as you enter into any contracts like that, you are taken care of. Whether it's prenuptial, whether it's whatever you need to agree to and kind of like figure things out, make sure that you are protected, and including jobs too. So partnerships, marriages, and any sort of relationships where you're going to be exchanging money or resources. Let's get it all laid out so that it's fair, because everything in this spread is making sure that that Ten of Pentacles can exist. So in the past, we see you've maybe been through the school of hard knocks a couple of times. Things haven't always balanced out the way they should. Sometimes things are sliding under the surface or people take more than they should. So we're walking away from letting people get away with that. And now it's sort of like, you're going to be the King of Pentacles and you're going to make sure that you get enough, that you don't over deliver or over promise. You're going to be the boss, like the Queen of Wands, and everything's going to work out this time around. So you're actually being set up for the success that we see with the rosy Ten of Pentacles or the traditional one, and people will come to see you as powerful. And that's why we've got the Tree of Life printed over this in the form of all those pentacles there. But that's basically saying when people look at you and the people around you, they're seeing value, they're seeing someone that they respect, and you're set up for that. Okay, so that's what we're seeing as a new beginning and a new sort of direction. So it's time, right? For some of you, it's more than time for this to happen. All right, let's expand the forecast now. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny through the lens of whatever has to come through from your guides. The health card is always about energy. So if there's anything going on in your body or emotionally, always work with a professional. I like to disclaim that before I begin for health. So we have Kuan Yin coming through with care and compassion. It says, choose to be love. Do what is right for everyone involved. That includes you, by the way. Offer a helping hand. So this card was reversed. And it's, again, I'm reading the reversals on these cards for you to focus on doing that for yourself. So be kind and compassionate and caring towards yourself. Choose to be loving towards yourself, not just critical. Do what's right for everyone, and everyone also comprises you and includes you. So make sure that it's good for you too. And make sure that you ask for help, because if this card is reversed, it's kind of like giving back. So ask if you're not receiving. That's a great message across the board, because that's saying I value myself enough to respect and take care of myself. Let's see some additional messages coming through for health. Let me just take a drink and then we'll look. Being mindful of what you say yes and no to. Basically, picky. Be picky, be discerning. It's okay to not do everything that is offered up to you. It's actually beneficial. Kind of like, when it comes to mealtime, you don't have to eat everything on your plate once you're full. Sometimes you want to save room for dessert. Sometimes you want to save that food for later. Sometimes you just don't need it. So balancing and measuring things out is key. Just like you wouldn't overconsume, you're not going to do too much or too little. Always taking the scales. That's the main thing this month, actually, when we're looking at health, is balance. This card normally has scales in it. This is the scales. And so it's all about finding your balance. This is in saying no, and this is also saying no. So being picky and saying no is going to be really, really key. And you will make healthier decisions in your life for that. This card can oversee things like, for some of you, there may be urinary tract infection. There could be not drinking enough water. It can also be reproductive organs. So pay special attention to that part of your body. Make sure you're drinking enough fluid. That's the main thing when I see this. And if you are trying to conceive, a lot of times the moon card in reverse is saying there could be external stresses and other things going on that make it difficult. So be kind to yourself right now. Really just give your body a break in general and focus on health and well-being. The Devil card is saying, be honest with yourself. There's probably something or someone in your life that needs to be released. And once you do that, everything starts to improve, okay? Don't give in to peer pressure or be bossed around on that. So this is really about following your inner north star, your true light, and making sure that you're going to be okay. That's it. The Devil really, I feel like most of you know what it is that you need to focus on, but it can be addictions and it can be people. It's usually things that hold us back and do not deliver in the way that we hoped that they would. So alcohol and tobacco would be an example of that. If you want to give up something, it's a good time to do that. All right. And then that's everything that I really see here for health. It looks pretty manageable. Let's go ahead. By the way, this can also result from power struggles. So this is you becoming the boss. This is someone else trying to kind of pull you back. So sometimes when you overcome a situation where someone has been pushing you down and you can't express yourself, the second and the third chakra, so again, where we hold our creativity, the sexual organs, and then the third chakra, the stomach, digestion, those tracks get kind of like messed up when we have power dynamics with someone who won't let us be ourselves or takes away our power. So when you clear it, then a lot of times you can digest your food a little easier, fluids move through your body easier, any blockages in those organs tend to clear up easier. And so focus on power dynamics. And so really it's second and third. Do you feel safe? Can you express yourself? And can you be strong and stand in your power? Because that will affect everything in that area. And there's a lot of important organs there, so you want to take care of that. All right, let's move on from health and then take a look now at wealth. Cleansing waters, amen to that. Purification activates vibrant life force. So the cleansing that we see here for many of you could be canceling a debt. Maybe you finally paid something off and you feel free. Credit card, student loan, etc., etc. Maybe you just decided, I don't need or want to do this for this person or this company anymore because I'm not getting anything back. It's not giving me enough of a return. I need more. So you're clearing your energy. And that's the best thing that you could do. Find what it is in your life that's not giving you a return and say goodbye to that. Energy is not just money. It's also love, and it's also your life force. And if you feel exhausted after talking to, working with, or hanging out with somebody, then that's a clear indication that they're taking too much, okay? Let me see if there's anything else for wealth. I think some of you may have hit a glass ceiling. It was indicated a little different in dreams. I saw like you breaking glass, but to me that's the same thing. Something could be a broken promise. Like someone said they were going to do something for you with money, with contract, with work, and it didn't happen. But what I see here is this is the final straw. So it's either this, you're either going to tell them that never again, or it's done. And it really feels like it's done. Also, someone else may have walked away or walked out on a contract or a promise, and you're still going to be better for that. So you either need to clear the air and clear the contract or whatever the energy is, or move on. It's really no shade of gray there for many of you. So it's time to make a positive change when it comes to that and hold people accountable to their promises, or do something on your own. There's always that option as well. There's a lot of people that want to support you with the Ten of Pentacles, so you can lean into that network as well. All right, let's move on to, let me see if there's anything else here. Oh, so for money, to me, it seems like these are two really good cards for being able to get your head around it and fix the monetary situation. So this is just about, again, making smarter choices, saying no when you need to say no, and making sure that if it is too good to be true or you're not being given what you need, that you advocate for more, because this is not enough. All right, now moving on to love and relationships. Yay. All right, we've got this celebration card here and dance. Some of you may be sort of meeting someone in just a very casual way. So the dance card could be, to me, a party, celebration, having fun and just doing what you want to do. I mean, we don't have to read it at face value. It's just having fun. So maybe you're deciding to have fun by going shopping or going hiking or whatever. A casual encounter, like out in public, you just meeting someone, organic, I should say, ends up being something more. So if you're looking for love, there's a way to kind of find love when you're not trying. You're just being yourself. Also, the energy of laughter, or just joy is what I would see with this. So if you're just with your friends, having fun, being animated in that way, that's a very attractive energy for new people if you're looking for love. Let's break this down into 3 categories. Those that are in a relationship, those that are seeking a relationship, and those that are single but happy. If you're in an existing relationship, we have to go straight to these cards here. So it's honesty and being able to talk to someone about your hopes and fears. If you can talk through that kind of energy, you can manage anything that comes your way, right? If you can't, this is all we need to focus on. Then that person isn't set up to support you in the way that they need to, or you guys just need to work on trust a little bit more. And that's what I'm picking up on here. Trust and transparency are the #1 things that need to come through. Be open to talk about hopes and fears. And if you can't, then either you need to work, both of you need to work on maturity, or it's time to move on. We do have a good card in the outcome. The 10 of Pentacles is community and family, as I showed you just a few moments ago. Here's your traditional 10 of Pentacles, so you can see friends and family and support. So when you're dealing with this and you really care about the person that you're with, then you need to lean on that support system for advice, because there is a lot of support there, okay? Talk it out. Talk it out with your partner, talk it out with your friends, figure out what you want. Looking at the communication styles of you and your partner, so it feels like you are a little bit more grounded here, but you might have also put a defense mechanism up. It feels like the other partner is a little bit more, it could be more dramatic. So I see one that's a little more reserved and more practical, and I see one that likes to be animated. Queen of Wands enjoys a good fight, enjoys the dramatics of like saying and speaking and acting big. So that might be something that has to be talked about as communication styles as well. But overall, if you want to work on it, you can. And if the other person is not receptive to it, it's probably time to move on based on what I've seen. So those are the highlights there. The other thing is, guess what's coming up? Money. And this could be the sticking point between the two of you. It looks like it can be managed. So talk it out, because that's the central card is money. This is about money, and that's a resolution to the money. So talk about what matters when it comes to finances. You can't sort of hide from that if you have to. If you have to deal with it, you have to deal with it. All right, focusing now on those of you that are seeking love. I'm getting rebound energy for some of you, because Justice reverse is a breakup. The Devil card reverse is fear of being tied down. The Fool card is non-committal relationships. If we're looking at the love cards, the Fool constitutes love, but it is the least connected. That is like a one and done sort of date. You don't really want to do more than casual dating, which it can be difficult. But getting out there on some levels is important, and maybe kind of hanging out with friends is step one for those that are on a rebound. If you're not, I'll talk about that. But definitely getting a lot of reboundish energy here. So you want to be around people that are taking it slowly, having fun. Group dynamics are more important. Hanging out with friends and family as you recover from a breakup is key. Meeting people and just developing friendships would also be key. Activities would be stronger. So shared activities, whether it's like doing something with sports or doing something with arts and crafts or doing something politically, I don't care, whatever your connection is, but you could meet like-minded individuals and create friendships that way. better for you to focus on friendships first, heal your heart, figure out what you don't want, who you are, and where you fit in the mix. And again, I can speak from a grief perspective because I just came out of that. As you're grieving, and you grieve an old relationship in the same way that you grieve a person in your life, it takes months, plural, for you to wake up in the morning and not think of that person, right? And I'm sure all of you can relate, whether you lost someone or you broke up from someone. All of a sudden a day happens and you're like, wow, like it's almost half over and I didn't think about that person. You need to get into that place probably before you start the dating, because if you're still thinking of the person and you're still harboring some of the energy, whether it's regret, remorse, anger, frustration, then you're not ready yet. So just do the hanging out with friends and get out of that rebound, because you wouldn't want to be dating you on a rebound. So get yourself clear of that and you'll be able to, the barometer is if you're no longer connected to the previous person, like in a day, you can go a day or most of a day, and maybe it's just once or twice. If it's still a dozen times that you're thinking of the other person, it's too soon. And even if your friends are pushing you to date again or to hang out again, take as much time as you need to kind of get into feeling like you're clear of that. And definitely talk to someone if you need to, because everybody deals with separation, Six of Swords energy, in a different way. Okay, so that's the first thing that I'm picking up on. Now, if you are not in a rebound, these cards have to do with honesty and transparency. So the cyclical sort of energy that I'm picking up on is you may have pulled people into your life before that waited too long to show their true colors. So what you're going to do in the future here with the Moon card is lay it out on the table sooner and have those conversations sooner. Not necessarily on the first date or first meeting, but as soon as possible. And if you are curious about something, ask. Don't wait for the person to reveal. So trust your intuition, of course, and then ask the tough questions sooner than later, but not in the first 5 minutes of a date, obviously. Just sort of like let it come out organically and talk about hopes and fears. Talk about things in the past that you didn't like. Help sort of like put out there on the table what it is that you are looking for. What is it that makes you excited and passionate in your life? If you're looking for love, that's the single most attractive energy. And then having fun doing that or talking about that. This is how you attract. And if you focus on these things, not dating on the rebound, being clear with what you want, asking the tough questions, yeah, we actually get a commitment card here in the long run, the Ten of Pentacles. And the person that you're pulling in is passionate and talks and walks a good game. So I like who you're bringing in, but they're expecting someone who's got their life sorted. The Queen of Wands doesn't have a lot of time and energy for nonsense. So she's saying, get your life together, because when I come into your life, I'm not going to have as much patience if you're not sorted out. So yes, I see love on the horizon, but a love that is very together. So the more together you can get, the better. Got it? All right. If you're dating somebody new, by the way, make sure that they are completely unattached, because everything that I just said about rebound could mean that maybe they're out of the rebound, but have they finished all the divorce papers if they're divorced? Or there could be some ties here. So if someone's divorced in particular, make sure that that person's out of the picture, because these two cards indicate that they aren't. So the ex needs to be truly gone before moving into something new. If you're single and happy, amen to that. It's the least complicated of all the reads. The main thing that I want to focus on for my single and happy folks is to get out of bad contracts, though. Still, one of the common sort of threads that I'm seeing are, it'd be nice to get into a clearer, brighter sort of energetic space for all of you. So find your freedom, focus on maybe being your own boss, because the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, and the Ten of Coins are all very entrepreneurial. Maybe it's a partnership of some sort that you're going to partner up with someone, but I want you to be the leading person. This could be like someone that is a silent partner or adding some financial support. But this time around, you take the control, because it does feel like in the past when other people were the boss, it wasn't as fun, it wasn't as engaging for you. So there you go. And that's everything for love. Main thing here is you should feel it. And love is a dance, by the way. This is a good card to come through. It's give and take, lead and follow. You don't always have to be the leader. You don't always have to follow, but there should be some euphoria. There should be some reciprocity, some back and forth when it comes to who's, again, kind of leading the energy. Let's move on to your destiny card. We have the Spirit Fox. I love foxes. I love, actually, foxes and dogs and wolves are some of my favorite spirit animals. Trust your talents in changing times. So we think of thinking fast and wisdom and quick reflexes. All those things kind of come to mind when I think of the fox. The fox is also reversed, so you can't outfox the fox. So if there's something that needs to be said or done, do it. Someone else is thinking the same thing. If you feel like you shouldn't do something, you probably shouldn't do something. If you feel like you need to talk to someone about something, this is the time to bring it up. So just do the smart thing, because if not, it's going to come back and bite you. The good news with the fox is it is smart, and it really nicely connects with the Queen of Wands energy here. So we have your inventiveness, your ability to lead, and also just sort of like ideate on things. You're going to come up with a solution, especially when others can't, and that's what's going to set you aside from all of the other people in the crowd. So we have a little bit more time here, not too much, but enough to kind of do a reader's and viewer's choice. I'm going to keep it to just 2 choices because we're at the hour point. But let's see here. And I want to spend some time with the new instrument today too. So let's take a look here at all the cards and see what's calling. We got to look at the devil. I'm going to focus on the devil energy, so don't worry about it, because this needs to be sorted. I'm going to look at the tricky triad of stuff here. So beyond that, let's see here. Well, I always think it's important to find the missing balance. I think that's important. Or establish, it's good enough. Find the missing balance. And then let's see here. I really like the 10 of Pentacles. So with the 10 of Pentacles, I want to figure out how to call in higher, well, let's see. It's not just partnerships, how to call in opportunities. There we go. All right, so you guys can vote on those 2. I'm just going to give you 2 so that I can focus on this and we don't have as much time of me typing here. So, all right, reader's choice. Let's figure out how to truly overcome limiting thoughts with the devil, and anything that we need to know with the devil and the moon put together. Wheel of Fortune. It's done, folks. I really do feel like this, for some of you, the fear, and this was reversed, but it's okay. So basically, it doesn't matter how you slice it, just because it's a cool card here. We see Morning Glory. If you look really close, you can see this is Morning Glory. Morning Glory is cool because I've used it as a totem before, but the way, and it's Morning Glory, and then we also see like an acorn on the other side here. But Morning Glory is a cool blossom because it lasts for a day and then it's done. It's not something that persists for a long time. So what you want to be focusing on is realizing that there was something that happened, but it is not in a permanent mark. It was something that you needed to experience. So the School of Hard Knocks here, going through the fire, realizing I don't want that limit placed upon me anymore. I'm not that person anymore. And deciding to, just like the Morning Glory, each day it's a clean slate, it blooms again and it tries again to attract a pollinator, to attract something beautiful. The acorn is, of course, a really great energy because it's like an Ace of Pentacles here. So with the Wheel of Fortune, you're going to change your fortune, change your focus, and say, I'm not that, and I don't choose to do that anymore, and it's going to be different this time around. It's a choice that you make, and the choice changes your life and changes your cycle of prosperity and love and everything. Because I do think love and money are connected this month. So choose a different path, and that's the key thing. The devil always requires a choice. It only wins when you let it win, so just choose better, choose differently, and say, no, I don't, no more. Not today, not ever. All right, let's see which one you chose for me. How to call in opportunities by 62%, so that's a great choice. All right, so we want to see how we can bring in the productive energy of the Ten of Pentacles. And I think this is smart because, like I said, it's about and again, this was kind of looking at love and relationships. So let's look at money now. Let's look at opportunities. It already came through a little bit here. So what can we do to call in the Ten of Pentacles? What opportunities are awaiting many of you? Three of Cups, word of mouth is how this is going to happen, my friends. So the Three of Cups is reversed, but it's still a good card no matter what. So the Three of Cups is typically a celebration card. We see here what can happen sometimes when the card is reversed, which is competition, or not competition, but gossip. Let's look at the traditional one for a moment, and then I'll contrast it with that. So Three of Cups. How can you find the opportunity? By talking to friends. If you're just like if you're single, or if you're job seeking, or if you're trying to find anything, the main thing to do is to let other people know that you want to see a change in your life. Not necessarily, here's the interesting thing. It may not come just from them connecting you with someone. The power is what? In the voice. And I've been talking this reading a lot about the importance of articulating things, because not only are your friends hearing it, you're hearing it, and so is the universe. And the universe is the one that's going to answer and help you figure that out. So your friends can help you have a gut check to think does this make sense? They can also give you moral support, and they may have the key. I mentioned earlier, for those of you that are stuck trying to apply to a job and there's nobody there, it's a robot. Well, maybe if you have a friend that's already there, you could just say, hey, is there anything on the inside? And they'll say, yeah, give me your resume. Or email it to me. I'll email it to the HR department. You need someone to help you on the inside kind of discover something. So word of mouth travels, but also word of mouth articulates what you're thinking, helps the universe hear what you want. So in your prayers and your meditation, also make sure that you're articulating things, because the universe is just as much a partner as your friends and partner can also be. And then the Three of Cups can indicate gossip or people in your life that feel like they're an expert on everything. And you do not want to waste time on that. And this card shows the gossipy energy of the Three of Cups. Oh my gosh, did you hear about this? Or someone comes in and they'll say, oh, are you sure you want to do that? I heard that this and this happened. It's hearsay. It's not necessarily grounded in anything. So don't worry about that. Focus on the true friends, articulate your purpose, and release anything that might just be gossip, because you are better than that. and we really want to get you into the Wheel of Fortune or the Ten of Pentacles, which is ready and around the corner. But speak it into being in a positive way. To your friends, to others. To your friends, you could just say, I'm creating this, I'm doing this, I'm trying to manifest this. Don't even use try, just say, I'm working to manifest this. Because then that lets the universe know you're ready. Let's do one last card, and then we're gonna play the bigger singing bowl that I have today, which I'll have to check with my chiropractor. I think it was one for, actually, it might have been, it's either the throat or the third eye. I'll text him later and figure out which one it is. All right, let's focus now on the big idea. The big idea is one last card, in case I missed anything here, to just sort of help direct us. And then we'll do a final card at the end. What a beautiful card. I actually haven't seen everything in this deck. It's maybe only the 5th or 6th time that I've read with it, maybe half a dozen, yeah. So we have the World card, and love this. The card is reversed, so it's time to change direction. And just because others aren't there yet or don't see you doesn't mean you're not on the right path. So this World card is basically saying you have to chart your own path, your own road, your own destination. And there are a lot of little twists and forks in the road, but you're headed on the right path, but you may be at leading the pack. And so when you're leading the pack, reflection and understanding that you're not alone might be important here. Take stock of how far you've come and realize that there are other people that are just kind of waiting to see what's happening with you. So it may be lonely in the leadership position, but it could also be very rewarding. Okay? Great. So today, we're going to kind of keep it light on the guided meditation. I'm just going to really do more of a sound bath because I feel like we've talked through a lot today. The one thing that I saw time and again, and I really like it here in this card, is to continue to be reaching for that higher light. So let's imagine that you are watching the sun rise on the horizon. Maybe you started driving in the morning, you found a place to park your car, and you're watching the rising sun. And as we meditate here with the sound bowl, or the singing bowl, and have a sound bath, I want you to imagine that you're just kind of embracing the solar energy, almost like what you would see on a cartouche in an Egyptian sort of tomb here. You would see someone kind of embracing the energy of the sun, and you just feel that energy pouring into you like a big ace of cups. And you can feel it going through the top of your head, through the throat, third eye, throat, heart, second and first chakras, going all the way through your body and lighting you up energetically. It's like you're plugging in to the sun. And just enjoy while I set up this sound bath, and then I'll be back afterwards to do the final card. Continue to receive that solar energy. Allow it to go all the way from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. And release. Take your hands, rub them together in front of your heart. Place your left hand on top of your heart, your right hand on top of that. Seal in the energy that you received and realize and remember that you've always had the potential to make something amazing happen. And let's choose to do so right here and right now. Let me carefully put this behind me and then we'll look at your final card. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at your final card and then we'll wrap up. So for this, all you need to do is focus on any question that you might be holding on to, anything that you might be curious about, and let's see what the cards have to say about that. All right, beautiful energy here with the Nine of Wands. This is the card of surviving, of persevering, of pushing through, of sometimes discovering hidden strength in the moment that you need it the most. So in the traditional card, you would see someone standing in front of at least 8 wands, sometimes holding the 9th, sometimes it's all 9. But they have a bandage on their forehead or some sort of an injury that they're nursing on their body, but they've made it through. And the message on the card is typically, I'm not going to stop now. We see someone here rekindling that flame and that fire and saying, yeah, I've been through the fire, but I'm not burned by it either. I've been sort of reformed and I'm reclaiming my power. So don't give up. Push through this final thing that you're kind of working with. And if you need to energetically do so, push back if you need to. This is a very strong card and a very strong message. You have the power, and people maybe at some point in your life have underestimated your potential. So you're going to either push through to the finish line, push back on a denial or rejection and say, no, this is how it's going to happen. And it's exciting energy. Now, if someone in your life is being that sort of 9 of Wands, you have to ask yourself, how much do I want to push? You can do it with the 9 of Wands, but there is work required. So what you desire is achievable, but it's going to take a little bit more time and effort on your part than you may have anticipated. So it's time to show up, basically, is what this card is saying. And if you show up, then the universe shows up and supports you as well. Okay. Take care of, if you're going through any sort of stress, this card can sometimes hit us in the like stress headaches, TMJ, sometimes migraines. So standard disclaimer always applies with this. If you're experiencing any of that, go to a doctor. But because of the stress that happens, a lot of times we end up feeling it there with the 9 of Wands. In the traditional illustration, you see the bandage on the head. So take special care for brain and emotional and mind health this month, mental health, because this is where it could kind of be circulating, the stress, I should say. All right. So my friends, that was today's really magical, enjoyable reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. If you did, a great way to show support if you're brand new is to subscribe. And you can also keep in touch with me across all my social media platforms. Remembering again that I don't do private readings and I don't use direct messages. And my name is exactly as spelled here. And when in doubt, you can always go to my website for additional clarity and information. I'm just about to say thanks. So if you want to give a contribution, you still have time to do so, and I'll say thanks. And this is an example of where I put some of the funds for super stickers and super chat. Because this is actually the biggest. I have a purple bowl that I use, but this is like twice the size. I really liked how deep the sort of sound was in that. So it's different from my crystal pyramid and my other glass one. So I take my time and I try to find the best instruments possible. All right, let's go into thanks and then we'll wrap up. And by the way, right before I do this, I did have my schedule for the upcoming week handy just so that I could remind you what was going on. Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius, I'll be reading for you on the 20th, 23rd, and 24th. That is Monday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. I will make sure that I put all the links on my website later today, and I'll also put them here on YouTube so you can set reminders for yourself. Okay, let me take a moment now to say thank you, and then we'll wrap up for today. By the way, while I'm doing this, thanks for Dakota's help. I appreciate him and his help with moderation. And for all of as I kind of look to my monitor on the side, thank you to everybody that's already a channel member or a Patreon supporter. You guys help make things like that possible, so thank you. To the new members, I know we got a few new ones today. I want to welcome you. Shayna Riley, thank you very much for joining. Yap, I think it is. Thank you. Easily Distracted. Thank you as well. I can't see the end of it here on the screen, but that's enough to call you out. LL, Kathy Coombe, and let's see. I think those are all the brand new channel members. And then yesterday, it looks like Newberry Lisa joined as well. All right. And now for the folks that were able to give back with a super sticker or super chat, let's take a look here and then we'll wrap up. Okay, kicking things off today was Liz Morrison. Thank you so much for your initial contribution there. Cut and Paste Life. Aaron H. Tracy Lynn. Relate, I think it is, yeah. Mary or Mari, thank you. Let's see. MZ Rach 017. Fiona Kale. Mercathia Hughes. Let's see. Trang Bam Bam, I think it is. Sheena Davis. Kay Ross. Let's see. Lucia Francesca Lalonde. Delise Trevino. Martina, I'm just going to say Martina H. Looks like Kolakova, but I don't want to say it incorrectly. It's a Mood Studio. Sunny Days. Kathy Smith. Marianne Palermo. Michelle Baines. Nini Salem. Miss Optimistic. Yvette Sanchez. Jeannie Hart. Melissa P., Mahima Lalit, and Misha Crane. Let me see if I missed anybody from there's a few here at the end. So also, thank you to Sarah LaRock, Helena Martinez, need my glasses fixed. Helena Martins, Darcy Rollins, Sakina A., Adrienne Wagner, and I think that's everybody. So, yay. Thank you so much to everybody that showed up today. Thanks for an amazing reading. Hope that you enjoyed what we went through today, and I look forward to anybody that's going to join me this week again for the 3 signs. Let me just re-mention those in case you forgot. Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. All right. I'll see you again, same time on the weekend. I may do something for the what is it? It's coming up here. The solstice, is it? Yeah. So I will look at that. I think it's like on the 21st, 22nd. So I'll look at my schedule and see what's going on. It would be the 21st. I might be able to do something on Tuesday. We'll see what's going on. I just have to, it will be a shorter one if I do, or I might do a very short, maybe something like a 3-minute one or a meditation. All right. In the meantime, lots of love and light to all of you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. All right. Bye-bye.